Welcome back. Now, we continue our discussion on e-procurement, and specifically in this discussion we are going to talk about e-procurement implementation issues and the risks involved therein. So, we will be first looking at various implementation scenarios and the process risks involved in and the barriers to adoption e-procurement systems. To remind you, we were discussing already that we have 4 solutions for implementing e-procurement. First one is the e-procurement software, second is internet based market exchanges, third is internet B2B auctions and fourth is internet purchasing consortia. Here once again I remind you, this e-procurement software is a supplier based solution, whereas this internet based B2B auction is actually a buyer driven activity and it is implemented in the by the buyer with its own effort. While implementing this B2B auction, the buyer can use his own IT department for developing the software internally, or it can take help of certain third party service provider like that of Ariba. Now, the other two, that is internet based market exchanges and internet based purchase consortia, they are also third party service providers. See, we have 3 options here: internet based market exchange, internet based purchasing consortia and internet based B2B auctions. All these 3 can be third party, this service can be taken by the third party, but there is certain difference that I have already told you. In case of internet based market exchange, it is a it provides the opportunity of buying to many companies from different industry segments, whereas this internet based purchasing consortia is a marketplace which is for a specific industry segment, and this internet based B2B auction, this can also be provided by the third party, but here the company as for its own, not in a online marketplace, but it is on its own, it actually takes help of one, it is only for the company. What I mean is, it is only for the company, it is for multiple companies from the same industry segment, and this is multiple companies from across different segments. So, but however, in this, whether it is internet based market, this is B2B auction or it is internet purchase consortia, all these 3 things actually provides a facility for conducting B2B auctions only, and this is in e-procurement software. E-procurement software actually provides a catalog where the items and prices are pre-negotiated for a specific time period. So, let us try to see how exactly all these 4 options that we have discussed are implemented online. Look at this. The first one is about we were while talking about the price discovery process. Price discovery process during B2B procurement, we understood that there can be a single round price discovery or this can be multiple round price discovery. Whether it is single round price discovery or multi round price discovery, both of them are actually part of your organizational procurement process. So, here we are trying to look at in this particular diagram, we are trying to look at how exactly this tendering process, that is single round price discovery, is carried out. Now, look at this. This particular diagram shows the information flow among the entities involved in the purchasing process. So, who are those people who are involved in the purchasing process? Actually, this is a diagram which we are showing, and this is the place where actually tendering takes place. So, from in the subsequent diagrams when we discuss, that does not mean that the other steps will be missing, all other steps will be there, only this blue outlined portion will be replaced in case of a B2B multi-round auction, and remaining stages remains same. So, the purchasing the process, so many entities are involved here, the department who is actually purchasing, then central the central purchasing department, then the vendor is involved, then in the companies let us say some store section is involved, and accounts section is also involved, and the indentation actually takes place in the department which intends to buy the item, and here the proposal is actually sent to the competent authority in the department itself, and the approval is sought. Once the approval is obtained, this approval, now look at this, all this information flow that we are talking about, these information flows are to be automated anyway, and most of the ERP systems will be actually automating them. What the ERP system might not be doing and taking help of external procurement system is this blue portion, where after the request etc. is set, is after the request is sent and it is approved, the auction is set up. By setting up auction, we mean, we saw that while discussing about this discuss about the price discovery, we know that you have to have analytical base for creating these bids, so that the bids can get automatically evaluated. For example, simply if you consider the simply taking the prices and comparing the suppliers based on their prices, how will you do it? You will be writing a sorting program to arrange the bids in a low to from lowest bid to highest bid, and choose the let us say first 3 suppliers. So, you wrote one sorting program. In case it is a multi attribute bid, you have to write you have to have a code, you have to have a software which will be converting all the quality attributes to possibly to a quantity value, and you have to have proper functions which will be combining this quality attribute with that of the price, and you will be evaluating. But whatever may be the case, right now we are considering, we are limiting ourselves to only price. So, so the auction has to have certain, while setting up the auction, you will be setting up the preparing the bid evaluation procedure. When the buyer actually inputs his criteria, he may be giving instructions that it has to be only price based evaluation. Then the second thing what he will be doing, he will be providing certain business rules. By business rules we mean, let us take one example of the business rule. Let us say we are actually thinking that we are trying to buy the items, let us say 1000 pieces of certain item, and we provide a business rule that from each supplier maximum we can buy 500 units. So, even if the lowest supplier actually supplies the item, one of the supplier actually supplies the item with the lowest price, because of our that business rule we should be buying only 500 items from that supplier. So, there will be many such business rules which can come as the constraint to the optimization problem that is going to be solved. So, after this auction is set up, this part, this blue part has to be carried out, this first part has to be carried out in the ERP system. After this, your e-procurement software takes over, and it has to be, of course, it has to be integrated in some way or other. Then the tenders are published, supplier provides the quotation and response to response to and as their bid, then bid opening takes place. Now, in the offline environment, when the bids are opened, usually a group of purchase committee members will be sitting together and they will be opening the technical bid and comparing the technical bid, and subsequent at certain occasions again the members will come and open the financial bids. Now, if it has to be opened in the online environment, now the problems comes in. All the members will be sitting on their individual computers. So, how exactly they has to be coming together in a group environment, so that all of them will be available at a particular time and the bid is opened and bid is not compromised. A lot of security issues are involved here. So, that bid is after in an online environment, what is after all a bid? A bid is simply a bunch of data, and that data, if it is not secured properly, it can be compromised, it can be viewed by at least if nobody else, at least by the people from the IT department. So, there has to be proper security arrangement as well. So, but whatever may be the case, we are not going to the technical details of that, but the software has to ensure that whenever all the technical committee members come together, then only the bid gets opened. So, after the bid is opened and the evaluation is made by the software, the selection is made and the role of the e-procurement software is over. Now, again your ERP takes over, purchase order is prepared and it is sent to the supplier, supplier sent the shipment to the appropriate section, then the shipment actually comes to the department through the stores department, then the department actually provides the verification of the goods. In the meantime, the stores department also sends the invoice to the supplier, supplier actually sends this invoice is also received by the purchase section and this payment is made to the supplier and the bills, the payment order is actually released by the department and finally, the payment is made to the supplier by finance and accounts department. So, as the point that we are going to make here is this whole process is automated by through this your traditional procurement that two cover system is actually automated, but part of the work is carried out by your internal ERP system possibly, and this part is also carried out by your ERP system, and this blue part is actually carried out by your e-procurement solution. Now, either you have your own e-procurement server for doing so, or you take help of certain third party, and taking help of the third party can happen in three ways. Either you have your, for your company only, you have this auction hosted, or you be a part of a consortia, or you participate in a industry independent marketplace. Now, second thing that we are going to look at is that whenever this e-procurement takes place through third parties, either it can be internet based market exchange, B2B auctions, or through a purchased consortia. This is a typical schematic of what all happen. What will happen? First is your B2B web portal, where the market maker designs the trade platform for specific products. As I have told you, he has to now specify his RFQs, etc. Then there is a market generator server, who will be actually contacting the buyer and contacting the seller. Both buyer and seller will be communicating through this particular server. Look, this particular server is actually different from your company's internal server. from your company's internal server. It is one server external to this, and the data flows from whatever I told you like in the last slide, this part and this part, the first part where this blue before this blue box and the second part after this blue box, for both these the activities are to be carried out by the company, and this third party's server is actually responsible for that blue line part, and it actually contacts the buyer, it contacts the seller, and the auction, either the tendering or the auction, whatever is the case actually takes place, and both of them actually get whatever is the outcome of the auction, both of them get to know. Now, many if you see in today's world, many of the companies are actually preferring third party service provider instead of having their own B2B auction portal hosted. The reason being, these third party service provider are not only are specialized, they provide many other facility other than this contract negotiation to the buyer. So, let us try to see what all facilities they provide. They provide a whole lot of facilities both for buyer as well as for the seller. For both for buyer and seller, they provide facilities such as technical training and support, then cash management, discount management, receivable and finance management, supply chain finance, invoice management and payment management. So, they actually provide support for all this, so that it is not that they become another ERP for you, no, because all these terms actually appear in your ERP. You while discussing about ERP, you might be getting ideas that it is actually no, it is not like that. It is actually, for example, your let us say payment management. Okay. Let us consider let us say payment management. In case of payment management, in fact, we have already discussed while talking about the Tata Steel's e-procurement case. We saw that Tata Steel's third party service provider, that is your metal junction, it one of the entity it connects with is actually the bank. So, the payment, for the payment also they provide you the facility to connect with the banks, so that the payment can be made conveniently. So, all these cash management options like discount management, receivable financing, etc., are all these options are provided by the e-procurement service provider. Then specifically for buyers, they provide many facilities. They provide spend analysis, as we are talking about. The spend analysis definitely is not a part of the traditional ERP. Then they provide facilities for sourcing, for contract management, for supplier management and discovering new sellers. Because see, you can, if you are carrying out your B2B procurement process through your own hosting your own B2B procurement site, then definitely you have your own list of registered vendors. But if you are part of a third party service provider, then besides your own vendor base, you get to know many more vendors who exist in the market, who are not otherwise registered in your company. So, you can also discover new sellers, new vendors. Then for sellers, it provides many facilities. It discovers new buyers, it provides networking management, sales contract management, order management, catalog collaboration and supplier membership programs. So, basically participating in a, people are participating in a third party service providers platform to take to get the benefits as has been discussed here. Then the next e-procurement solution is through e-catalogs. It is actually different from earlier ones because it is a supplier driven solution. So, here what happens, once you have this approved set of catalogs ready, the employees over the intranet, and this particular catalog has to be now integrated with your ERP system, or at least your corporate information portal, corporate portal. So, here the employees can browse through the suppliers, they can, which consist of multi supplier catalogs, corporate catalogs, order forms, and they can know about the availability of the item. It will have the facility for order entry. So, what they will do, they will be browsing the suppliers, they can find products, they can order items, they can confirm order and so on. Then then you can have the catalog contract workflow management part of it to transmit the orders and process the orders, and these orders will be sent to the suppliers, and detailed information about this order etc., will enter into your approval workflow process, which possibly will be a part of your own ERP system, and order fulfillment takes place. And as you know, there will be certain physical fulfillment activities, shipping etc., and corresponding information has to come in. So, let us try to look at the various risks associated with e-procurement technologies. We have 4 broad category of risks: internal business risk, external business risk, technology risk, and process risk. Coming to this internal business risk, the availability of appropriate resources for the successful implementation has to be ensured if you are going for in-house implementation. And even if you are going for a third party service provider, you should be ensuring that appropriate integration takes place with your existing infrastructure, and this integration or integration with third party or developing your own platform requires significant investment. Okay. So, if you do not besides developing this, if see software is one part, but making a software and making a task successfully through the software is another part, which involves not only the technical component but there are many other issues. For example, your company's your employees need to be motivated to use that software. So, there are many such besides technical issues, there could be many such psychological issues, interpersonal issues which are involved therein. But anyway, it requires significant investment. So, it is your internal business risk. Then there is external business risk. You cannot, your company cannot make the e-procurement process successful on its own, because e-procurement is about automating the procurement process, which in turn involves your suppliers. So, therefore, the suppliers also need to invest in technology. At least a supplier has to have a website or internet connectivity. So, if it is not there, how it is possible? Of course, now you cannot, nowadays you cannot imagine any supplier not having this kind of facilities, but they have to invest. Similarly, for example, if somebody is actually implementing adopting a catalog based solution, as an company I would like to adopt the catalog based solution. Can I adopt it on my own? The supplier has to first provide this facility to me, then only I will be able to use that catalog. But creating this catalog and integrating with the business to the internal processes of my own business requires significant investment on the part of the suppliers as well. Okay. So, if the supplier is not willing to do so, you cannot actually guarantee the use of e-catalog. And again this particular process, this e-procurement process, because of negotiation, this reverse auction etc., it actually decreases the price so much that the suppliers are hardly benefited, though it is beneficial to the buyer. So, it may happen the buyer supplier relationship in the long run. Again, while coming to this buyer supplier relationship, 2-3 more facts I will be able to say. Let us say here the supplier is actually involving a lot of money for being a part of your e-procurement process, and it is also helping you in developing let us say appropriate technical proposal for procurement. But because of this involvement of this software, there is no guarantee that this particular supplier who has helped you in preparing the proposal and helped you and also invested a lot of money in its for improving, for connecting with your e-procurement system, may not be getting, because it is a competitive pricing, he may not actually get the order. So, therefore, he has a lot of risk and he may not be motivated enough to participate. Then next is your technological risk. It is lack of clear understanding of which e-procurement technology best suits the need of each company, requires a lot of thought process on the part of the management, and unless otherwise this understanding is clear, you may end up choosing a wrong kind of e-procurement implementation platform. Then lack of widely accepted solutions for integration of different e-procurement software across the supply chain is another problem, because integrating two heterogeneous information system requires many technical, has to resolve many technical compatibility issues. Then lack of clear and open standards that would facilitate inter-organizational e-procurement technologies is another risk. Then next one is your process risk. This is the last one, the process risk. The organizations must be confident that they are going to get benefits through e-procurement. In fact, many times the internal stakeholder of the companies will not be willing to go for e-procurement, because they feel their control over the process is actually decreasing, and they can feel there are many security and privacy concerns associated with this. Okay. So, therefore, there are many process risks involved in while implementing the solution. There are many barriers to e-procurement adoption as well, which are result of these risks. Coming to this e-procurement software, the risks, the technological barriers are the problems of integrating with the existing system. As I told you, there can be technological incompatibility issues. Then lack of common standard for this software development, is lack of suppliers accessibility to the organization's e-procurement system, and lack of suppliers investment in catalog development are the barriers. Then coming to internet exchanges, if you do not have enough suppliers to create a liquid marketplace, then such marketplaces actually fail. Then suppliers reluctance to participate in the selling environment, where the prominent focus is actually on decreasing the price. They would not like to be part of it, and in turn show the lowest possible price level where they can go. Then suppliers reluctance to participate, because the control is lost over the presentation and brand name and the product features. Then with e-auction, the issues are the organizational discomfort with auctions as opposed to honoring commitment to a supplier patterning suppliers I mean the partnership and consolidation. In fact, this I have been repeatedly telling that here, because the software actually takes the final decision about selecting the right supplier, if you are already obliged to certain supplier in some manner by getting getting help for preparing your proposal etc., then that commitment you cannot keep. Then this downward price pressure on the vendors can also result in diminished customer service and quality, because to win the order they can lower the price to the best possible one, but in the other to adjust that they later on they may decrease the quality and they may not honor the service contract. Then inability to identify potential items for auction is again another problem by the companies. Then you see, for example, auctions, if you have certain strategic item purchased, would you like to go for auction? Because if your market is a supplier driven market, you may not be actually be willing to making your suppliers compete with each other, because it is a supplier driven market and supplier decides about whether you get the item or not. You are not the person who will be. So, it is e-auctions are only possible the scenarios where it is a buyer driven market. Then you have purchasing consortia. In case of purchasing consortia, the price is not significantly better than available without consortia. Now, getting sufficient number of vendors into the process is another problem. Now, ensuring performance of the state laws and regulations is also some kind of barriers for utilizing said technology. So, with this we finish. Thank you very much and see you in the next lecture.